Questionnaire for identifying psychosophic type. Hi, my name is Intars. I'm from Riga, Latvia. I'm 29 years old and I'm a software developer. I already introduced myself in my Socionics interview. Therefore, I will move on to second question. Try to remember the main goals that you set for yourself in your life. Name them. Why are they important to you? Main goals in life. I'd say I have multiple main goals. One was to become a very successful expert developer. Second one was to find a good relationship with someone where I would be happy. And the third one was to be fit. Yeah, so it relates to my short-term goal to lose weight, but I'd like to be I like to have a healthy body. There's a saying, a healthy mind lives in a healthy body. Why are these goals important to me? If I'm an expert software developer, I don't need to rely on other people. I can implement all my ideas myself. I get a steady income, good job offers. If I have an idea for an app or a game or anything, I imagine I can just do it quickly myself. I can prototype. I'd like to be the expert that others come and ask advice for. Okay, let's move on. Second one, good relationship. Yeah, well, I feel that the right woman could really motivate me to push further in life, and I would be happier if I found someone really compatible with my personality. With that healthy body, I'd be physically attractive, but I would also be more energetic, healthier, and yeah, that's why it's important to me. Third one. How did you assess your chances of achieving success before starting to move towards the chosen goal and in its process? Have there been errors in your estimations? I look from my past experience. I check objective facts and I try to envision myself succeeding. However, sometimes my estimations are not 100% correct. Sometimes I doubt myself. What do they think? What do other people think? Do they like me? I'm not sure. For example, I was in a job interview and then I kind of underestimated my chances of succeeding. I just went for it, and next day they offered me the job. And I was like, wow, that was fast. And yeah, I was not sure if I'm gonna get the job. So I'd say there are some errors in my estimations, but I try to learn from my past mistakes. How important is the opinion of other people in assessing your achievements? Relatives, friends, leaders, etc. I'd say I do listen to that opinion, and it is somewhat important, especially for from friends, but I don't really listen to any leaders. And if I have to make some decision and do something I really want, for example, I decided to learn to ride a motorcycle and my whole family is kind of against that, I still went for it anyway. But I do value if people really give positive opinion about my achievements. Number 5. Can relatives or any other people important to you greatly influence your decisions? How much can anyone or something affect them? Give an example of situation in your life. Oh, so I just somewhat gave an example. I decided to learn to ride a motorcycle, and all my relatives were against that. They were like, "You're gonna kill yourself. You're gonna die in an accident." But I still went for it. But sometimes they could influence, other people could influence my decisions greatly. I had a job offer and I successfully passed all the interviews and got the offer. And I did talk to one of my friends and said, yeah, like I'm gonna get that amount of money every month, and said some information about the company, and he just said, go for it. And then I was without a doubt sure that I should move on. Number 6. What is the motivation for you to move forward? Sometimes I have this vision of me being this successful person. I imagine the good future I am going for. And sometimes somebody else, like a girl I like, could also really motivate me to move forward. After experiencing my recovery from a spinal cord tumor, I feel like I've been given a second chance in life to live a life more fully, to enjoy the life and go strive for my goals. Number 7. Are there any of your achievements that you consider your pride? Is public recognition important to you? One of my achievements was to get the black belt in karate. And it does feel good when you tell that story to other people and they recognize it. But in my job, for example, in my previous workplace, I did really good job in optimizing system processes, like a function call that took 60 seconds to 1 second. And I was not really recognized, but I still felt good about it because I could just test it out myself and just appreciate the thing I created. And I did not need public recognition there. Number 8. How do you feel if no one notices your success and does not support you in your aspirations? It does not feel good when no one notices that. For example, when I was trying to learn to ride motorcycles, everybody was like kind of against that. But my goal was not to drive recklessly or buy a super fast sport bike. I just wanted to enjoy that skill and drive carefully. I just say it does not feel good, but I know for myself that I have succeeded. Number 9. Can you make other people doing what you want? How exactly will you do it? I'd say I can do that to some extent, but I will just approach them and ask for help. For example, if I have some problem in my job, some technical problem, like I don't have access or some kind of programming issue with some framework, unknown error that can't be fixed on my own, I would just approach some people I know that might know the answer, and they would help me since we are still on the same bigger team. But I'm not sure if I could make a complete stranger do something that they don't want to do. For example, I was filming my sports games, Jugger. I had a action camera and just asked some guy if he could film it, and he refused. I just found somebody else that accepted the task. Number 10. If you had a team in your submission, how would you organize its management? Describe your leadership style. Well, I'd say my leadership would be a bit democratic, I'd say. Yeah, I would talk to each of them about, like, do you have any issues with your tasks, and I would organize, give each other their task that they can do the best. I could recognize their talents and just ask them to do that, and just casually once in a while just ask around, like, how are you doing? Do you need any help? I see that in my team I'm not like this dictator, but more like a manager who manages people's best abilities. But yeah, I would listen to their opinion. What do they have to say? And I could probably organize some meetings and talk about the common goals. How are we progressing? And I believe I could prove that the progress is being made and there's a light at the end of the tunnel, that the team could be motivated. How do you react to situations when someone or something forces you to do something you don't want? Well, if a friend or relative or someone I somehow care for asks me to do something I don't want, I would demonstratively say, I will do the sacrifice. I will like let them know that I will do it, but I'm sacrificing my time. I don't really like that. But if it's something that, for example, in my job, yeah, sure, I might have to do because it's my job. But then maybe I wouldn't be that motivated, and uh, I would probably do it anyway. Of course, if it's something like I really, really uh, don't want to do, and the person who is asking is not important to me, and I'm not being paid for it, then I could just refuse and walk away. Examples. Visiting my parents, and my mom asks me to peel the potatoes for everybody, for for the soup, for example, and I might throw that for phrase anyway. That like, okay, I'll do this. I'll do the sacrifice. I'll sacrifice to do it. Yeah, to let them know that I'm not content with that task. Why are you asking me to do it? But I will do it. Yeah. Number 12. What do you consider comfort and bodily pleasure? Are they important to you? Can physical labor be a pleasure to you? If so, which one? Well, I definitely consider sex as a great bodily pleasure. And comfort, well, I mean, a comfortable chair, maybe having an air conditioner in hot summer. Yeah, I say these things are somewhat important to me. Physical labor. I don't think physical labor uh, would be a pleasure to me, but I remember that I enjoyed when I was visiting my grandparents in countryside. I enjoyed to mow the grass with a scythe, that whole movement. I remember that my grandfather asked me to help him out to mow the grass, and I did the whole field because it was like a good workout. Number 13. Expand the concept of my territory. What do you perceive as infringement to your territory? I consider my apartment as my territory, also my bed as my territory, and a concept of personal space. For example, if somebody whose breath smells comes too close to me and I can feel the smell, I would consider that as infringement of my territory. Or when I invite someone over and they would act very inappropriately in my apartment, then I would also consider that as an infringement. Number 14. How important to you is wealth? And what do you consider wealth? And financial independence? What wealth gives to you? What would you spend $1 million on? I do consider wealth to be somewhat important to me, And with wealth, I mean not only like money, but also good health and good relationships. Financial independence, yes. Wealth gives me freedom. For example, I can call a taxi whenever I want, and I don't need to worry that I cannot afford it and how will I get home after some kind of event or party that ends very late and when the public transport is no longer active. But in my opinion, good health is actually more important than financial wealth. Like if you're really sick, what's the point of being rich if you can't enjoy the benefits of your money? If I could choose a life to be a millionaire but with lots of health problems, or a really healthy person with minimal income, I would probably choose the healthy option if my health would be guaranteed to be really good for the rest of my life. What would I spend $1 million on? I'd like to buy a Tesla electric car. I would consider that as an investment because I believe it will pay itself off in 20 or 30 years, and that way we also support the whole movement of against pollution, and Tesla is also like an exclusive car. Another thing, I'd probably want to buy a house with a garage where I could just leave it and charge it overnight because of the way the electric cars are built. I would like an electric motorcycle too, zero electric motorcycle, and I would charge it at my garage there too. I would also consider the whole motorcycle as an investment because it takes even less energy for the transport and it gives really nice experience in my opinion. It's something I'd really like to have. And with all these free purchases, I'll still have a lot of money left, and the rest I would probably invest somewhere. I'm still not sure exactly where. Maybe I would leave my job and start a company with my friend, like a software development consulting company, and with that money, that would be like our first investment, and hopefully we could grow over time. Or maybe I would just invest in some other things, but I don't have the expertise in real estate and cars and such investments. Maybe stocks, but I consider that more of a trading than investment because of the whole short-term nature. Number 15. How do you choose your clothes in the store? Normally, I don't go to clothing stores. Usually, I do it when I'm together with my sister or my mom, and they just kind of take me there. But then, when I walk in the clothes store, I would just pick everything I like lots of t-shirts and pants and whatever just speaks to me, like whatever I like, and then I would just try them on and ask their opinion about how do I look, you know. And if they give a positive opinion, then I'd probably buy those clothes. Even if they might be on discount or full price, if I like it, I might buy them at their full price. Number 16. What do you do if you get sick? And what do you do if someone from your family gets sick? Well, I would go to my doctor, and they would probably give me some kind of recipe for medicine that I need to take. Normally, during these days, I would just stay at home and just sleep as much as I can, drink a lot of tea, take my medicine, watch TV. Usually when I'm sick, I watch a lot of TV, watch different TV series, maybe like a whole season of a show. If I start to feel better, I might play some video games, but if I'm really sick, I don't do that because it takes like a lot of mental activity, and it's not the best choice to do. If someone from my family gets sick, if it's like a regular sickness, I don't really do much. I just usually message them to get well soon, and I probably wouldn't be visiting them. But if it's something like really serious, like for example, my little sister fell from 4-meter height and broke her back, and she had to stay in hospital for a month. And then I went to visit her just to cheer her up. Yeah, just to cheer her up. And I remember I bought her a Wii U gaming console so she could play while sleeping with the screen, and the rest of us could play on the TV. That was like a way a person who has to always stay in bed on her back can still play games. But she got well, and now she's fine. So that was a good, lucky recovery. Number 17. How do you rate your performance? How do you feel about lazy people and idlers? Currently at work, I would consider my performance below average, mainly because of the whole pandemic thing and my health issues. I don't have the focus that I used to have, and I do realize that I don't have the best performance like it used to be, and I tend to estimate my tasks inaccurately. How do I feel about lazy people and idlers? Well, you have to ask why they are lazy and why are they staying idle. Maybe there's like some kind of a reason. Of course, if you're completely fine and you're like idling on purpose, I don't like that, but I'm not like their manager, so who am I to judge? Number 18. How do you create sufficient living conditions for yourself? Do you have a desire to improve these conditions? If so, how do you do it? I would just buy whatever I need, and if I need some kind of more specific help, for example, to connect washing machine and dishwasher and the whole thing with sink together, I would just call a person and pay them to do it, because that way it'd be way more efficient than me spending a whole day on that and probably making mistakes along the way. I would like to have an air conditioner because it is really hot in here, but I've heard if you purchase those big air conditioners with external air exhaust, then you need a special like license or approval from the local authority. But I try to improve my conditions? What can motivate you to increase your wealth? A girl I really like would motivate me to increase my wealth. I somehow have this weird idea that if I get really wealthy, I'll be so attractive. But it's probably not not true. Also, if I someday had my own family, I would be motivated to take care of my children. Then I would need to increase my wealth. So I need to take care not only for myself but for other people as well. Number 20. How important is it for you to make people around you comfortable and pleasant? What are you doing to provide them with such conditions? It is maybe somewhat important to me. For example, I hosted a party yesterday, and the problem was that I didn't have enough comfortable chairs for everybody, and I tried to find maybe some people can stay in couch in another room, choose a different chair. I do desire that if I'm hosting party at my place that everybody feels okay here, but I would probably just ask like if it's not a good chair, just ask them, maybe give it swap with somebody else. Maybe like an older person needs the whole big comfortable chair, and younger person just can stay and sit down on a normal bench, or just do some activities somewhere else while standing up. Number 21. What does it mean to take care for you? What kind of care do you want to receive from others? If it's in a relationship, I'd like if my partner would make food for me, or hug me, or talk to me, to be this more active person. I could probably provide the whole monetary and financial thing myself. I don't really want this rich girl to provide for me. I can provide for myself just fine. I'd rather have this whole emotional and physical taking care for me. Of course, it does feel good when somebody buys you something as well. Like I celebrated my name's day with my friends, and we went to a special bar, and everybody was like buying me drinks. Like took turns to buy me something, so it did feel alright. Number 22. How much are you inquisitive person in comprehending new knowledge? Why do you need this knowledge? I am quite inquisitive. I go to different conferences about software development and technology, like DevTernity and Riga Dev Days. I go to startup events organized by Tech Hub Riga and Tech Chill. I listen to podcasts, I watch videos, and I go to meetups organized by Java User Group and Google Developer Group Riga. Why do I need this knowledge? First of all, learning new things is just interesting to me. I enjoy the process of gaining knowledge. This knowledge someday might be useful to me, and I get something to talk about with my friends. Number 23. Do you want to share with others your research, views, ideas, reflections on various topics? Why? Does it ever happen that you are afraid to express your opinion or respond to an audience? If so, why? I do want to share my research, views, ideas, reflections on various topics with my friends. I want to hear their opinion, and it feels good to share something interesting with them. But I often am afraid to express my opinion in public to an audience of strangers. I don't know why. Sometimes it's like this invisible wall, and I have this thing to say, but it just does not come out. Maybe I'm afraid to embarrass myself in public. Maybe I am shy. Maybe I am afraid of what other people would think of me. Number 24. Is it interesting for you to discuss various philosophical and theoretical questions? Yes, it is very interesting for me to discuss various philosophical and theoretical questions. Sometimes I discuss topics like, are we living in a matrix-like simulated world? And if so, can we build our own simulated world within this simulation? I also like to discuss about topics like time travel and parallel universes. Sometimes I discuss topics like if the future self comes to you and warns you about some kind of event that would get yourself in trouble. Would you trust them or not? Number 25. What questions are you most interested in discussing with others? What questions are more interesting to reflect on alone? Why? With others, I usually discuss questions like latest news in tech industry or events at my workplace, new things I have learned, maybe computer games, movies, TV shows I have watched recently. Maybe some kind of interesting thing that has happened to me. But alone, I would probably reflect how did it went on that date. Questions about relationships. Why? Usually guys don't really talk about such things that much unless it's like brought up by someone or it's really serious, like a friend is getting engaged. And better to evaluate things for myself to see how I feel about it, because at the end of the day I'm gonna be the person who has to live with that other person together for the rest of my life, so you have to listen to your own heart. Number 26. What is your greatest motive for practicing intellectual activities? Why? First of all, I just enjoy learning new things. So practicing intellectual activities could help me gain new knowledge and improve my skills. And there's also opportunities to widen the scope of knowledge, gain new friends as well. Still, I do gain new knowledge and something stays in my memory, and later when I'm meeting someone, some friend or somebody maybe dating, I can bring up those topics I just learned before, and I have another thing to talk about. I also like to understand why things work, to have this order in my head and have some kind of explanation. I do enjoy strategy games as well and board games, and they do involve some level of intellectual activity. For example, Scrabble, where you have to make words from different randomly picked letters, and you have to creatively guess and combine them, and that also activates your brain, and the things get interesting. And I believe such activities are just good for people and a good way to spend your time. Number 27. What is your internal reaction when circumstances or people show you the possible fallacy of your ideas? What are you doing in such a case? My internal reaction probably at first would be neglect. How dare he show this fallacy, and it's not true, and I have all these questions and my own points that it could not be true. But if it is proven that to be false for real, like proven for fact with real evidence, then I would accept it and thank them for it later. So my first internal reaction would be like, no, but later I would accept it if the evidence would be provided. Number 28. Who or what can change your point of view? Is it easy to persuade you? Do you like to persuade others and change their opinion? I believe, in a way, anyone could change my point of view if they would provide significant evidence and some kind of consistent logic with everything else I know for sure about some topic or in the world. But I don't think it is easy to persuade me. I would probably maybe shake my head and be like, yeah, but in my mind I would still disagree and would not accept the new point of view that easily. It will take some more explanation and evidence, and maybe I would need some time to reflect on myself, see that if that is true. Do I like to persuade others? Sometimes I do like to persuade others, but I'm also fine to agree to disagree. Because when I'm persuading others, I would often use anecdotal evidence, so it probably wouldn't be that convincing unless I have really studied the topic. Of course, if it's something related, something like software development, where I have lots of years of experience and I can prove, then of course I could persuade others, just show them the evidence that maybe this is better way to do something and I would show them exact cases and why, or maybe show them a more performant way of doing the same thing. So I could also provide some kind of benchmarks that prove my point. Question 29. How do you feel about people who receive education for the sake of the process itself? Do you study anything without any certain purpose? I don't have any problem with people who receive the education just for the sake of learning itself, as long as they are not wasting any taxpayers' money. For example, I had a friend who studied theology, and I don't have any problem with that, although I don't think theology is like the most practical and useful field of study in the modern world. Do I study anything without any certain purpose? I do study Lithuanian language for fun, and it's probably not the most practically useful language here in Riga, It's probably way more practical for me to study Russian, but I like the Lithuanian language. I find many similarities interesting, and these two are like the last two Baltic languages that are still alive. Originally, I started studying it because of my previous workplace where we had Lithuanian code, like Lithuanian code comments, variable names, function names, table, column names, etc. So I did have a use case for it, but now I just study it for fun. And as I am studying it, I find it interesting to find different communities that help with language learning. Question 30. Is it comfortable to you to communicate with people whose views do not coincide with yours? I would say it is not really comfortable for me to communicate with these people. Because, first of all, I am afraid that I might accidentally offend them and provoke some kind of completely useless argument and conflict. For example, here we don't have many of those, but we have some of those social justice warrior people who almost religiously believe in some of the very radical left views, and yeah, I just don't feel comfortable with around such people. I'd like to tell a joke, and maybe sometimes I enjoy black humor, and I feel that if I would say such joke near those people, I would be definitely misunderstood. Question 31. What does the world of emotions and feelings mean to you, your life? How important is it for you and why? How important are your own emotions to you? I do like to feel good, but I'm not sure if whole world of emotions is really important to me. I'd rather have a physical, healthy state. I guess I just don't value that those world of feelings and emotions that much for myself. Of course, sometimes I might feel sad after like some kind of bad event in my life, but it comes and goes, and it's just the way of life. There's no need to overstress yourself. And how important are my own emotions? I don't think my own emotions are really that important to me. Of course, I like to enjoy feeling good, feeling loved, but, and for example, I enjoy to laugh, to have a good atmosphere, but is it really that important? I'm not sure. Question 32. Are the emotions and feelings of other people interesting to you? Why? What is the best and most suitable support for you? I don't think emotions and feelings of other people are that interesting for me, but of course I'd like to have other people to feel good, and if I have like made somebody sad, I'd probably feel a bit bad myself. So, are they interesting to me? Not that much. Of course, if it's like my girlfriend, then I would have to be interested in those emotions because I'm like invested in the relationship. But in general, others people's emotions and feelings are not that interesting to me. The best and most suitable support for me, just to cheer me up, to give me some kind of compliments and tell me that it's gonna be alright. And that's it, yeah. Maybe just tell some kind of joke. I don't really want to deeply analyze every sad thing that has happened. I'd rather look forward to future. Question 33. How do you behave if someone wants to cry on your shoulder? What if someone imposes his emotional state on you? Normally I would just hug them and let them cry it out. I would listen to what they have to say. And yeah, I don't really know what should I say in such situations. I just let the crying person talk it out and cry it out, and I would just hug them, just support them in that way. For example, when my little sister was in hospital, my mom cried on my shoulder, and she was really sad and upset. And I didn't cry, I just hugged her and let her cry it out, let her get over the past negative emotions. What if someone imposes his emotional state on you? Of course, if somebody has really strong negative emotional state and is upset about me, then I would feel worse in such a case, even though I would not show it on the outside. Question 34. How do you understand the phrase emotional interaction? Is this peculiar to you? Do you have an often need for emotional interaction? In what situations? I understand emotional interaction when a person shares some of their deep emotional feelings with the other person. For example, like confessing love or sharing some kind of event in their lives that made them upset, and to have this exchange. When you open your outer walls and show your weaknesses, your emotional inner weaknesses to the other person. Is this peculiar to me? I don't think it's really that peculiar to me. I rarely have these emotional interactions in my life. For example, when I had horrible event, my spinal cord tumor, and before the surgery I did have some emotional interactions with some of my friends, because I was like worried about the future and what would happen of me. And the other situations is after a breakup, then you need some kind of friend. Then after a breakup, I would probably share some of my emotions with a close friend, and yeah, to let them know how I feel, have some kind of support. I'm still a good person and everything is gonna be okay. Question 35. If you are in a bad mood and you got in the company of friends, how do you cope with such situation? I would probably look all serious and wouldn't be that talkative. I'd be like, I would be there, but in my mind, in my thoughts, I would probably be elsewhere, thinking about some kind of situation or event that bothers me. How do I cope with that? Usually I don't share those things. I let my friends cheer me up, maybe have a drink, go on a walk, and just do something else. If everybody else is like in a better mood and having fun and cheering me up, then I might also experience some kind of improvement in my mood. But usually I don't really show that out to other people. Question 36. Is it easy for you to provide emotional support to other people? Give any examples. And do you need it yourself? I'm not really sure if it is easy for me to provide this emotional support. Of course, I can hug the person and listen to what they have to say. And yeah, for example, I let my mom cry on my shoulder, but yeah, I don't really know what what to do. How should I provide this emotional support? I just try to be there to support the person. Do I need it myself? Usually I don't need it at all. Only when I'm facing some kind of really bad event in life, only in those times I could use it. But other than that, in some kind of everyday problems or minor uh, minor sad state, I don't really need it. Question 37. What is emotional discomfort for you and how do you cope with it? I think it's when something really bothers you in your mind and you can it bothers you to the point that you get unproductive at work. And yeah, then you can spend hours in bed and stare at outside of the window and not do anything. That's that's the emotional discomfort for me. How do I cope with it? One thing that has helped me is listening to positive and good music that I enjoy and dancing to the rhythm of the music. Just spend some time with your friends, spend time with other people. And the more time you spend with others, then that discomfort will go away. Another thing I do to cope with it is to go cycling with my bicycle and just to clear my head. And that has helped me sometimes. Just go for a quick ride for example like 10 kilometers, and you got your head cleared and I feel a little bit better. Question 38. Have there ever been situations where you did not quite adequately express your emotions in the presence of other people? Did you feel sorry for your behavior after this? There have been a few situations where I did not quite adequately express my emotions. For example, when my great grandfather died and I went to his funeral, I was filming the funeral and my cousin was holding a cross, and it was some kind of ceremony and other people were carrying the coffin. And as I was filming, I looked into my cousin's eyes and I was like smiling and making faces and trying to get him to laugh on the video. So yeah, that probably was not really adequate, but I was really young then. I was like 14 years old. And actually I did not really feel that sorry after it, because I'm not really sure if the great grandfather would want us to be sad, but yeah, not really adequate behavior there. And another moment was when my little sister showed me her self-made slime, like slime, those gooey things, and it was really liquid and not solid, so it started to flow through her fingers, through her hand, and drop. And it was like next to me, and I kind of raised my voice and I said, "It's leaking! Your slime is flowing out, it's leaking! Why are you doing this?" And she kept trying to gather it, and it got all messy, and the floor was like gooey with her slime. But I think I did made her upset. I didn't really say anything that bad, but I felt bad that I raised my voice, and actually she went to the other room and cried. She wanted to show me something nice she made, and accidentally made a mess and I raised my voice when I shouldn't have. Question 39. Do you think your inner world is rich in emotions? How natural is it for you to carry these inner emotions to the outside world to express? Are there any difficulties in expressing your emotions? Not sure if my inner world is really rich in emotions. Of course I do have some kind of emotions, and sometimes I do feel good, sometimes I feel sad, sometimes I feel some kind of affection to another person, but I do find it hard to express these emotions to other people. For example, when I was in a relationship, my girlfriend told me that she thinks that I am the one. Like, basically confessed her love to me, and I didn't say anything. I just started to passionately kiss her because I don't really know, like, how do I express these emotions? What should I say? And usually the other person has to get them out of me somehow. Question 40. Tell us about your favorite film, book, music group, song. What do you like the most about various kinds of art? It's actually hard to choose just one film. I have two favorite films, The Prestige and Interstellar. The Prestige is a film about two stage magicians who in the beginning are like partners and later become the most fierce competitors with each other, and they try to outwit each other in different ways. And why I like that film in particular, because of the twists and turns and the finale where everything is revealed. My mind was like blown. It was like the movie is tricking with you, and you could actually notice what will happen, but it was like so convincingly played that in a way the film is also a magic trick. I'm not gonna spoil the exact details what happened there, but it was a great film. It has some science fiction elements, great acting, and great characters and a nice drama. My favorite book is Master and Margarita by Mikhail Bulgakov. I really enjoyed that book because like it shows that Soviet society and the whole supernatural elements of the Christian philosophy and the whole thing is like intertwined with the whole thing, with the whole story, and the romantic elements between Master and Margarita, and how did she turn into a witch. But actually the most I liked how the whole satirical part and how it showed the Soviet society, and I'm amazed how this book could have been published in those times. My favorite music group is Muse, because I think they are really talented and their songs have thought-provoking lyrics. They have really nice guitar riffs. Their music is really original. In my opinion, they're like one of the best alternative rock bands in the world. Have been to one of their concerts, and it was like nothing I have ever seen in any other concert. The show was on a whole new level. The music is like very professionally done, and it gets you moving. It hits the right strings, and they had really spectacular show elements like giant monster installations, lasers, lightsabers, smoke, everything, like, and it all comes together with really great music and a big hall full of fans. I think Muse is great. But my favorite song is actually Love My Life by Robbie Williams. And why that song? Because of the positive affirmations. Like, if you sing along those lyrics, like, I am powerful, I am beautiful, I am free. And such affirmations could improve your mood. And I actually do affirmations for a year now, every single day when I wake up. Different kinds of affirmations, and I accidentally discovered this in one group, and I just started doing it. And that song lifts you up, and if you sing along, you can actually feel better, in my opinion. What do I like about various kinds of art? Well, I like art that makes you think, like makes you wonder. And art, like a good concert, can also lift your mood up. For example, if you're in a sad state and you go to a really nice rock concert and jump around and sing along with everybody, and the band that's playing is one of your favorites, then yeah, you will feel better, in my opinion. But I also like artwork, like drawings and paintings, or maybe some kind of artistic installation, and you can like watch it and wonder what did the artist meant, what could it be. Question 41. Comment on the following statements. I am nothing. Well, first thing that comes to me are the lyrics from Sum 41 song, With Me. I am nothing without you. But if you're being serious, then it's like I think it's like a negative self-thought that people sometimes put in their minds. And yeah, of course, we can think that we are still like a spectacle of sand in the grand universe. But you don't have to let these thoughts get to you, because you are something. Do not interfere in anything and give the events of your life the opportunity to go their own. I think many people here in Latvia have similar thoughts, to just flow and not interfere. But I think it's not the best life ideology, because I believe that everyone is the forger of their own happiness. And of course, the opportunities come in waves, and it's up to you whether you will follow that opportunity or let it pass. And after it's passed, you can wonder how the things could have been and live in regrets that you did not take that opportunity. Number 3. It is difficult for me to formulate my thoughts. Sometimes I do have this difficulty to formulate my thoughts, to express myself correctly and to be understood, because, well, sometimes you have to respond quickly and somebody else can confuse you, or maybe someone can ask you a really unexpected question that you don't know the answer, and it gets difficult to formulate your thoughts and the way that you won't be misunderstood. And sometimes those thoughts run faster than the words you can express, and sometimes it's the other way around. Number 4. Emotional inadequacy. I believe emotional inadequacy is when the person acts really emotionally inappropriate for the situation. For example, starts crying out loud or shouting, be really upset, making a scene where there's no reason to. Number 5, financial crisis, lack of money. Financial crises come and go, we have experienced a few, and only once in my lifetime I have experienced a real lack of money where I had no money left in my bank account and I had to take a loan from my friend, and it did feel a bit uncomfortable to ask for it, but I got the loan and was able to survive till my next salary. And yeah, lack of money is something I would not like to experience. I feel some kind of protection that I have money in my bank account, and if I would be fired tomorrow, I would still be able to live for a while from my savings. Of course, some people believe that there's another crisis looming through the whole pandemic thing, and the second wave is coming, and that might happen, but I don't think that raising fear is the best thing to do now. Question 42. What psychosophical type do you assume is yours? I have not really studied psychosophy that much, so I don't have one version for my type. But I believe that due to my activity in sports and getting the black belt in karate, that physics would be in a high position, and logic as well, because of I've been programming since I was 12, and math was always naturally good for me. I did score the highest possible grade in my final math exam, so I would assume that logic is in a high position as well. But I don't have any single type currently in mind. Okay, thank you for watching my Psychosophic Type questionnaire.